I know it's old news, but Operation Eagle has been announced for Iron Harvest. I am hyped for this, and I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not going to talk too much about the announcement itself. Okay? I'm just going to theory craft about who I think the secret faction is going to be. To start off with, let's talk about the obvious and dissected. Do I think it's Clan Albion? My answer is a very soft no. I won't be shocked if it turned out to be Clan Albion. I just don't think it's Clan Albion. My main reason is that all evidence, like Usonia is the American faction, Clan Albion is the British faction. Like, there's no real hints at it being Clan Albion other than Usonia is American. And yeah, while I won't be shocked if it turns out to be Clan Albion, I just don't think it's Clan Albion based on that. Like, yeah, Usonia could have been a Clan Albion colony that rebelled and then took over most of America. But that does not mean that Clan Albion is the old enemy. Like that's basically what I have to say about the Clan Albion theory. Like, it's possible, but I don't think it's likely. But let's have a look at something that there is evidence for. You see, there's a lot of snow in the poster for Operation Eagle and in some of the primo images that have been released. Now, this could just be hinted that the Operation Eagle of Operation Eagle is taking place during winter, but it's also entirely possible this could be hinted at the Nordic kingdoms, as, you know, cold, hard north and yada yada yada. Anyway, the thing is, like, you might be asking, how are the Nordic kingdoms the old enemy? Well, the thing is, the Nordic kingdoms, if you can't tell, are the Viking faction. And while in our universe Finland was abandoned, it's entirely possible that in the Iron Harvest universe, the Nordic kingdoms managed to hold on to Vinland until the Usonians took it over, or there was like a small war for Vinland. It's entirely possible, and that's why they're the old enemy. Now, let's discuss a slight possibility of the secret faction being either the Factory or Fenris. Now, I say they're kind of on equal grounds, but that mostly depends on if Operation Eagle takes place during the war or after the Great War, as like Fenris is rising. Because I struggle to think of a reason why the Factory would be described as the old enemy, unless of course Usania joined forces with Rusviet or Saxony, or like any of the factions that declared war on the Factory to begin with, and like Operation Eagle also tells the story of how Tesla found out about Fenris. I just struggle to think of a reason for the Factory other than there's a few Factory units that aren't playable but are AI controlled. Okay, now let's talk about the possibility of Fenris. Like, if Operation Eagle is a sequel, then Fenris has a real chance of being the main villain of like the expansion, mostly because of the enemy waiting in the shadows, and that describes Fenris perfectly. Just the guys who waited in the shadows, let everyone else beat each other to a bloody pulp, and sort of took over from there. And also, if it's a sequel following the fall of Roosevelt, then we would probably get a couple of Fenrician mechs. Is it Fenrician? I think it's. I think that's the correct term, Fenrician. Or is it just a term I made up for like someone who belongs to the Fenris faction? Anyway, like you do know, like they do have sort of high-tech technology that they've kind of stolen from the factories. Well, not the factory, the factory. So it's I'm going to say it's an outside possibility, and if it turned out that Operation is a prequel to the main Iron Harvest story, then it's also likely that Fenris is the main villain of the campaign. But who knows? I just thought I might bring up the possibilities. Like it's unlikely that they're the secret faction. I just want to point that out again, but it's a possibility. Okay, I just want to bring that to attention. Now then, let's look at the Scythe board game for a moment, as I've missed out two factions that are on the board. As I don't think they're likely to be the secret faction, as well. There's not much of a reason for them to be described as an old enemy. The Shogunate probably could fit the description as waiting in the shadows, because apparently their faction is very, very sneaky and kind of like has a overuse of ninjas and stealth tactics and yada 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 yada. I can't think of a they do apart from the Reiji Restoration, I don't think they have much of a connection to America. I mean, you do have Pearl Harbor of World War II, but that's just disconnection, really. This is a World War One inspired game. Let's bring up World War Two. And I don't think it's the Shogunate because of lack of evidence. I also don't think it's the Crimean Khanate, because that's the Crimean Khanate would be the faction I would be the most shocked of if it was the secret faction, because how are they the old enemy of America? It's like Canada looking at a random small country in the middle of Africa and saying, my old enemy. I was like, why? You've done nothing. Like apart from maybe sports events and stuff, there's no military thing I can think of that happened in Crimea that it connects to America. That's all I wanted to say on the matter. The Shogunate is the most likely of the two, but Crimea is just nothing. It's uranium hard. No, I don't think it's gonna be the secret faction. I'm sure it's not gonna be the secret faction. I'm not gonna bet anything because normally my theories are 100% wrong, even when there's no rhyme or reason for them to be wrong. So, yeah. So, in summary, I believe the most likeliest faction I think it's going to be is the Nordic Kingdoms, because there's screenshots and evidence for it to be the Nordic Kingdoms, but it's also kind of loose. I will admit that it's loosely, there's loose evidence. I based my entire Nordic theory on snow. Then it's Clan Albion because America, old enemies, British. Then it's either the Factory or Fenris. Because they're hiding in the shadows and other such stuff. Then it's the Shogunate. Then it's Crimea. Okay, I've been John the Crazed. Thank you for listening.